Clarkson on the drive, kicks it out for Man. Man, three-pointer, bang! Oh, what a man!
Magic down the middle, just what I thought. A hook shot at 12, good!
Here's Michael at the foul line, a shot on Elo, good! The Bulls win! They win it!
Now there's a steal by Murray. Underneath the DJ,
Going up over Bell, ball away. Yes! Yes! At the buzzer, he does it! Was there ever a doubt? A Smith screen, Bougie will defend. Oh! LeBron James with no regard for human life.
It's a physical game. Oh, man, oh, my. A monster jam by Blake Griffin.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another post-game live here on Dime Dropper. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe at Dime Dropper on YouTube. Hit the notification bell so you know every single time we go live. Going live after every single night of these playoffs, man. And it's been a blast, and tonight is going to be no different. What a special night we have tonight. Already know the deal. Follow us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at dimedropperpod. Shout out to everybody in the live tonight. So far, kind of quiet. I'm trying to go live a little bit earlier for you guys. So right now, not even 11 o'clock Pacific time. So hopefully it ramps up in here. I see now we got 18 people in the live. Hopefully we'll let it go and let it move. But a special night for me. You know, the Clippers are out, so I don't really got a horse in the race. I'm just kind of watching these games, trying to have some fun. But Glenn Rivers, one game away from getting to the conference finals for the first time since 2012 and falling short yet again. James Harden falling short yet again. Jayson Tatum with a big-time performance. And the Phoenix Buns bidding adieu and going fishing. Cancun on 3. Just like we knew was going to happen from the start. Your boy made $50 tonight. Been drinking a little wine. Feeling good. The Phoenix Buns are out, so we're going to start there. I'm going to make it very brief on the game. The game was over after the first quarter. 44-26 Denver. They were unstoppable offensively. And in this game, no DeAndre Ayton, no Chris Paul. So again, for a familiar sight, Chris Paul's season ending with him not being available and able to play, which is unfortunate. There is a level of sympathy I do feel for him. So I'm not a dick, and I still love Chris Paul. But DeAndre Ayton missed the game with a rib contusion. And listen, man, for all the shit that we give Ayton, he is so important for that team because they really had no replacement for him. And Jokic was having no problem hedging KD and Devin Booker at the pick and roll. And those guys in the short roll, Bismack, Jock Landale, they were not scaring anybody. And they're okay with anyone else shooting, not named Booker or KD. And the shots that Booker and KD were extremely tough, contested, well defended. And they were taking tough shots. Nuggets were getting easy ones. For the Suns, it's really all KD and Devin Booker trying to create off the bounce one-on-one. And for the Nuggets, so much movement, so easy to just get the ball to Jokic, whether it's in the high post or low post. He is an absolute beast. He owned them, destroyed them, was by far the best player on the court. He was unbelievable. Dominant on the glass, dominant on the inside. His post game was laughably good in this game and in this series. There was one play where he had Shamet on him and he just did a series of pump fakes. Shamet never even bit, and then he just pivoted and turned and got a little floater off. But just amazing what Nikola Jokic can do. Jamal Murray was on one as well in that pick and roll with Jokic. That's so hard to stop. Michael Porter Jr., KCP, Bruce Brown, though, they really came to play. And yeah, they ran away with it. Devin Booker finally returned to earth, looked like a normal human being tonight. Kevin Durant started out super cold. I'll give him this. He never gave up. He fought till the very end, but the game was never close. They could never get stops, and their luck ran out as the Nuggets obliterate the Buns in their final game of the season, and for the second straight year, get embarrassed on their home court in front of all their fans that probably paid way too much money for that ticket. The Nuggets outscored the Suns 44-26 in the first, 37-25 in the second. They were up 81-51 at halftime. They lost the second half by 5 points, but man, what a blowout. Let's read the lines for the final Buns game of the season before we go into the eulogy. Oh, it's exciting. Got the recap done in 5 minutes. The Suns, or the Buns, they turned the ball over 14 times. They really just, again, they have no bench. Torrey Craig, 13 minutes, 4 points. TJ Warren, 16 minutes, 0 for 1. Biyombo played 8 minutes, forgettable. Terrence Ross, 9 minutes, 0 for 5. They had a combined 12 points off the bench, and mind you, a lot of the minutes were garbage time minutes. They still only scored 12 points. Embarrassing. All the starters played 31-plus minutes. Jock Landale had 13 points and 5 boards on 5 for 6 shooting, and it's so funny that his plus-minus actually ended up in a plus, but nah, he didn't do anything. They went small with KD at the 5 a lot, and they just got obliterated. You can't do that against Jokic. What do you think this is? That's exactly why I say that's small ball shit. If you're playing against a center with actual post game, and then you got shooters around him, sheesh, you're in trouble. But the thing is, it's not just like Dwight Howard, a center with shooters around him. It's guys that cut without the ball so much, and Jokic is the best passing center we've probably ever seen. I still got to watch more film to say it definitively, but the best I've ever seen. There's no doubt about that. How about Cameron Payne, who I thought, actually, let's go with Landry Shambroke, 9.6 rebounds, 4 assists. He tried really hard, had a great moment in game 4 of this series, but overall, this will be the greatest moment of his life.
Gilgeous Alexander. Shabbat for 3. Bingo!
There'll never be a greater moment than that for him. That's when he was Landry Sham-Wet with a capital L-A. Now he's, just a sham. Cameron Payne, though, really did a good job in this series. They were 2-2 with him in the series starting. 31 points, 6 rebounds. The only thing was he turned the ball over 4 times, and there were a couple of bad ones, but 12 for 16 from the field. He had a really good game. 7 for 9 from 3 in 42 minutes. So he brought it. And then the duo, Devin Booker, finally looked like a human being tonight. Jamal Murray was giving him the business, too, on that step back going to his left. 12 points and 8 assists for Book. 4 for 13 from the field, 1 for 3 from deep. Just absolute lockdown defense by the Nuggets. He saw multiple bodies, but he also just had really good defenders on him like KCP, Bruce Brown, and Aaron Gordon, who just did a hell of a job. But finally, Devin Booker didn't shoot well. So after an amazing postseason run, 8 great games and 3 not so great games. These last 2 ones, and then game 1 against us, no, not so good. And then Kevin Durant started, I think, 1 for 10, 23 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 dimes, 4 turnovers, 8 for 19 from the field. Didn't shoot 1 3. Oh, my God. That's so weird. I didn't even notice that. 7 for 7 from the line. Yeah, the Suns shot 48% from the field and 39% from 3, but they couldn't get a stop to save their lives. They also shot 65% from the foul line, 13 for 20, so that's not very good. But how about Denver? Christian Brown, 14 minutes played, 1 for 2, 4 points, 2 boards. I think he's really solid. Comes off the bench, great defense, gets out and runs. Jeff Green, 18 minutes, 0 for 1, 4 points, 2 boards. He was a plus 13. Bruce Brown was just amazing yet again. He has been awesome in these playoffs and really good this season. 13 points and 5 rebounds for him to go along with a steal and a block on 6 for 13 shooting. He was a plus 26 off the Nuggets bench in 31 minutes. Really good performance, getting out in transition, good point of attack defense, moving really well without the ball. Just a really solid role player, so active, and yeah, just 100% effort all the time. Then the starters, starting with Michael Porter Jr., who got off to a really solid start. 10 points, 5 rebounds for MPJ, 4 for 10 from the field, and some really good defensive rotations as well. When he's alert, and that's on those rotations, when Jokic hedges the screen, makes a huge difference, makes the defense sometimes get flustered and lose the ball running into that body, or just makes them make the extra pass and forces the Nuggets defense to I shouldn't say forces, but helps the defense recover. And of course, a 6'10 guy rotating at the rim, he's no slouch. He's not small. He's not a chair you can just shoot over. So MPJ, he's definitely made some strides defensively this season. That's very evident from the tape. And as a result, you see the Nuggets back in the conference finals for the second time in the Jokic era. Third time in my life, 2009, the bubble, and now this. How about Aaron Gordon? 8.6 rebounds, 3 assists on 3 for 7 shooting and just 2 of 4 from the line and 0 3-point attempts. You'd never be able to tell with an 8, 6, and 3 stat line how well Aaron Gordon was playing. His defense on KD and Booker was just amazing all series long. This has been the best season of his career. Jokic has helped make him a better player. Murray, Malone, they've all helped make this guy a better player, find his role. It's kind of similar to the Andrew Wiggins role. He's not going to live up to this draft potential coming out of Arizona, but Aaron Gordon is proving to be a really solid role player, that guy that goes out and guards the best players every night, and you need guys like that to win championships. I always talk about those kind of players, and he's really solid moving it out without the ball, screening, and cutting. But the man who really set the tone as far as three-point shooting, getting out and running, had some amazing finishes in transition, just amazing finishes that you see stars finishing. KCP looking for ring number 2 and will likely see his former squad in the conference finals. 21 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block, 0 turnovers on 7 for 11 shooting, 2 for 5 from 3, and 5 for 5 from the line. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope was just amazing. Super chat from Bernardo Vivas. Thank you, Bernardo, with some Brazilian currency. Says, going to drop a couple of takes, then bounce because it's 3 a.m. Dirk is in a KD level. KD leaving the Warriors was dumber than Neymar leaving Barcelona. Jokic is the 6th best offensive player ever. And fuck the Suns. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Thank you, Bernardo. I really appreciate that. And then Jamal Murray, really good in the pick and roll, keeping the defense honest. Just having such a phenomenal postseason, playing like an all-star. 26 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals as well. 7 for 16 from the field and 4 for 7 from 3. Also 8 for 8 from the foul line. And I said, this Nuggets team, the championship chances to me come down to how well Jokic and Murray can defend at the highest levels. Now, last 4 teams standing, they're really going to be tested. And how about the main man himself, Nikola Jokic, who gets triple doubles as easily as anybody I've ever seen. 32 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists, 3 steals, and a block. He was a team high, or game high, I should say, plus 28. Shot 13 for 18 from the field, only 1 3-point attempt, and was 6 for 6 from the line. What a monster, and what a series he had. Let me ask the chat. Do I go into grilling the Suns first, or do I celebrate the Nuggets briefly and talk about how great they are and then go into grilling the Suns? Let me know in the chat. I paused the audio, so you guys can let me know right now. Let's see it. Wow, this is great. 28 people in the live. That's okay. It's pretty decent. Post the link again on Twitter. Why not? Let's see. Which one should I go with first, guys? I'm waiting for your comments. Suns, come on. You know you want to. Grill the Suns. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Phoenix bums? No. All right. Grill the Suns. Yeah, it's the Suns time. Honestly, though, hold on. Let my computer get a little cool down. Do not step away. 36 people, do not step away. I swear. 30 seconds. All right. Beautiful. Let's go. We back. All right, we're going to go to the Suns. Let me just read the comments first. Why not? Jordan Smith, what's up, Jordan? Says, if Suns had Golden State refs from Game 5, they would have blew the Nuggets out. Oh, here we go. Laker fans making excuses for refs. Raid Chowdhury says, Kevin Durant's days as a top 5 player are over. Facts. Darren going live a little earlier than usual. I know my guy couldn't wait to deliver the Suns eulogy and slander Glenn for another choke chop. You're damn right, Raid. You know me too well. Juan Guerrero says, what was the name of that Suns fan that was giving you shit on here? I don't know, man. He's a weak guy. He's not here tonight, is he? Ken Juan Walker says, KD is washed. Dime dropper. Okay, I wouldn't say washed. Black Jacku says, KD isn't him anymore. Nick Pillow says, time for a funeral. Ken Juan Walker says, RIP Suns. What's up, Daniel? Ghost MW2 says, they should have lost against y'all, but they were lucky Kawhi sadly got injured. Facts. Sneaker Plug says, what a L at home. Suns suck. KD sucks. Washed. Needs to retire or go back to Golden State. Free book, Nick Bello. Are we serious right now? Also, I smell another Glenn Rivers choke job incoming. Yeah, I do too. Thank you, Sneaker Plug. Fire Monty Williams. Go Lakers. Corey Marshall said, fuck the Suns. Lucas said, so humor Bismack Biyombo is still in the league. Do you think the Zhenjiang Golden Bulls will hire Glenn when he chokes Game 7? A CP0 and Glenn choke all in less than a week on different teams. We blessed. Saw that from Bernardo. Alberto Esquilin says, Jokic is the real MVP. Grill the Suns. Suns, come on, you know you want to. Grill. Nuggets then unleash on the Suns. Grill the Suns. Grill the Suns. Grill the Suns. Suns. Grill the Suns. The Suns. It's your night. I was expecting Embiid to take over the fourth quarter. Okay, you're jumping ahead now, June 20th, July. Clippers best team in the league when healthy. I've seen enough. Relax. Not even close to true. This is going to go down as a prime example of why not to sell depth for stars. Some people thought the Raps were going to fix themselves by trading for KD. I feel you. They didn't learn from the 2021 Nets. Well, the 2021 Nets, if they had stayed healthy, they could have won maybe. The show says, after Tatum's scoring burst, it seems like the Sixers mentally got crushed. Without CP3, the Suns became Nets 2.0 with Kyrie and KD last year. Yeah, but pretty much. Bernardo says, a great scorer that isn't an elite playmaker isn't as valuable as a first option. Jeremy says, that Suns pack about to hit. Elias Almadi says they should spell it into the Phoenix Suns. All right, let's get into it, guys. Enough fun. Time to have some real fun. The Phoenix Buns. Oh, how sweet this is. A team that looked like they were at the end of their rope before the KD trade got a little bit, actually, I wouldn't say a little bit, a large rejuvenation to their title chances. The window seemed shut, but it just got lifted open a bit. However, I never believed in this kind of shit because only Clyde Drexler and Rasheed Wallace that I can think of off the top of my head are big players that were traded in the middle of the season. That's teams actually won a championship that same year they were traded. I just don't think that unless it's just a perfect storm, that is going to win a championship at the moment or in that year, I should say. Now, do I do that if I'm the Suns? Absolutely, I'd still do it 100% of the time because this summer, you go out there and make some changes. Obviously, in my opinion, get rid of CP3 and Ayton. I'll explain why in a sec. But get rid of those two and get some different pieces around KD and Book because those two are just incredible scorers. While they may not be the most seamless fit for each other, they actually played off of each other pretty well. So I would just get a better supporting cast around them. But look, I'm not even really grilling the Buns. Like, they weren't a better team than Denver. The best players on the other team, but, they had no supporting cast. The main thing is Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton just aren't who people think they are. Now, Ayton, I actually think it's a lot of shit. And he was just, typical Ayton, underwhelming. And I always say about Ayton, he needs to be fed the ball because he's one of those guys that, you need to get him involved for him to try his hardest. He's not one of those guys that's just going to do the dirty work for the team. You have to cater to him. And I don't think that this is the team where he will be catered to. So he's going to have to get a move on, request a trade. It's just a bad cloud hanging over. It just doesn't seem like he's enjoying it. It doesn't seem like the team enjoys him. I don't know. But let's put it this way. The Phoenix Buns, they just get lucky in this Booker era. They only beat teams that are injured. Tonight, they got a taste of their own fucking medicine. They were not going to win this series healthy either way. They only beat injured opposition. Zion was injured. Kawhi was injured. Jamal Murray was injured. Anthony Davis was injured. This year, Paul George. They don't beat healthy teams. And everyone's like, oh, some people are like, oh, well, KD and Book, no one's beating the Suns. Let this be a reminder that the games are played between the four lines and not on paper and not on 2K. And just big names does not equal championship. Chemistry matters, continuity matters. And the team that took the regular season the most serious, the team that has been together for a couple years and just added complementary pieces, the team with a top 3 player in the league that's pretty healthy and available, and the team that was determined to get the number 1 seed and has taken this shit seriously and like a team that wants to win the championship is in the conference finals, and deservedly so, as opposed to a team that sold their entire depth for one player that, as I said last year, will never win a championship as the consensus best player. I stand on that shit. I stand on it, and I always will. Kevin Durant is not going to win a championship as the consensus best player. And I'm going to get into why in a second. First, let me just grill the team. I said Nuggets in 7. They weren't even good enough to get there. Now, granted, they missed Ayton in that short roll immensely. You know, they just weren't giving a fuck about it. They knew that the Bismack or Jock Landale wasn't going to pick and pop or be dangerous going downhill. So they just, rotated quick, got him to kick it out, or just let them take the floater, and they weren't tripping at all. Ayton at least has that push shot down. So I'm going to say that Ayton was missed. But that being said, they got the shit kicked out of them, and they would have lost the series anyways. So to me, the fact that they just got embarrassed like that, though, is like, I don't want to say it was a lack of effort, but it's just funny that they just don't show up when it counts. Like, I just think that's hilarious to embarrass. You can't just go down like that with your fans there. Like, that's what's embarrassing to me. But I think it was more so that the Nuggets were just such a better basketball team, and Phoenix's luck finally ran out, as opposed to, they just didn't try. Like, they just didn't come to play like last year against Dallas. That was just like, they got shell-shocked. But this was, they just got destroyed by the better team. And Denver was on a mission tonight. Like, that's what a championship team looks like. They came out and took care of business. And they knew they were not going back to Denver to play a Game 7 the second the ball tipped off tonight. Like, you could see their body language, the way they were defending, the way they were, like, taking advantage of every offensive possession like it was a big possession. It was just beautiful. The Denver Nuggets, I've said it all season, they're the only great team in the West to me this year. They're the only great team in the West. I don't think that the Warriors or the Lakers, I think they look like great teams, honestly, but they have an inconsistency to them. I think the Warriors, they're so dependent on whether Steph Curry can go nuclear to me or Draymond Green looks at the basket. If Draymond Green doesn't look at the basket, they have a little bit of a ceiling to me in terms of, like, they can win a round off Curry's brilliance, but their role players are suspect, and they have kind of a logjam at guard to me. And then the Lakers, it's just LeBron is old. He's still great, but he's old. D'Lo's inconsistent, and Anthony Davis is inconsistent offensively. But you know what? If you want me to be generous, I'll say we have 3 great teams in the West with the Warriors, Lakers, and Nuggets. But to me, throughout the course of the season and playoffs combined, there's only been one great team, and that's Denver. And I think they've earned this. But as far as Phoenix, first you got embarrassed. So that's honestly just comical to me. Secondly, let's talk about the team. So this shows everybody that the game is played between the 4 lines. You can't just have these players and think that you're going to run teams over like that, and just like chemistry doesn't matter. Chemistry fucking matters, and this is when it's a team sport. Yes, you need dudes, but let me tell you something. The best dude was on the other side, and he was the best by a landslide. So let's go through the Suns' big 4. It was really a big 2. This was a 2-headed snake. DeAndre Ayton, I'm actually a big Ayton fan. I think he's an extremely talented player, but he plays like a Build-A-Bear. He is soft as far as an NBA player goes. He has no killer instinct. He has no demand the ball about him, even though he has turnarounds over both shoulders, a great jump hook, a great mid-range. He has no demand, like he has no command. He needs to be fed and be told, yeah, DA, go get it, and all this to get the best version of himself. He's not going to go do the dirty work. So he needs to get a move on. He needs to request a trade and go develop on a shittier team because he's not with the program. He's not willing to make those sacrifices from what it seems, and he's a constant cloud over the organization. So, and then the Suns. I've been saying this for a while. They did not empower him. They treated him like a role player and not a guy that could be potentially an all-star. Now, again, I just grilled Ayton. It's partially on him, but it goes both ways. Nobody tried to make him better to me. Chris Paul tried the first year, and then that was it. So, they give him the ball early in games and they go away from him. I don't think, and I said it. I fucking said it about Ayton. I said that when KD and Booker came, he was already passive enough with Bridges, Booker, and Chris Paul. When KD comes to the table, he's going to get the ball even less, and he's going to get even more uninvolved. So it's over for DA in Phoenix. Get him out of there. It'll help both parties. As for Cliff Paul, I feel bad for Chris. He got hurt again. Just like 2018 and 2016, he was forced to watch his team get eliminated in street clothes on the sideline, and that's unfortunate. But the thing about Chris is he's not going to win a championship. His best chances were the last 2 years, and he will not get a better chance than that because now it's in the Suns' best interest to trade him. He completely slows down their pace. For the second playoffs out of 3 years, they looked like the better team when he was not playing because Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, they can get out in transition and get mid-range stop and pops. And Devin Booker is not even 30 years old. Like, he can get out there and move. Chris Paul is such a ball stopper, ball pounder. He wants to control everything in the pick and roll. Being a spot-up shooter, despite his regular season averages, just doesn't seem like a clean fit for him. And he is getting worse and worse defensively. I think there's no coincidence that Chris Paul hasn't won a ring. I think that he is not, it's not that he's not a winner, but there's levels to this shit. And when it comes to the Final Four standing, there are flaws in Chris Paul's game. He wanted to be the number one option here in Los Angeles with my squad. And granted, he was fantastic. He got us to the second round multiple times. He played really well each playoffs and always improved his game. But there would come a point where we would just go up against better players than him. And when he's your best player, we were never going to win a championship. And that's just the facts. Then he goes to Houston. He couldn't stay healthy. I still don't think if everybody was healthy, Iguodala included, that they would beat the Warriors in that series in 2018. And then in 2019, he was trash. We all thought he was washed. He had a little revival for 3 years. But in 2021, he completely killed their pace in the playoffs. And in the finals, he had a terrible game 4 that was extremely crucial, turned the momentum of the series. Drew Holiday locked his ass up when they switched everything. He couldn't do anything off the bounce and create shots anymore. And as I said, he also heavily favors his right, and teams know that in the playoffs. You put length on him, and that's it. That's it. And defensively, they attacked him, and Middleton just shot over him like he was a chair in 2021. And then last year, Dallas just took him out of the game with their switch everything. Now he fell off a cliff. I'm sorry, Chris Paul. I can't wait to see his number retired at the Intuit Dome. It's going to be a very special day as we watch the Lob City compilation of his best highlights ever in NBA history with the Clippers in his career. The prime of CP3, one of the greatest point guards of all time, one of the best players to never win a ring with the Lob City Clips. But he's going to be joining that class. Charles Barkley, Reggie Miller, Elgin Baylor, John Stockton, Malone. He's going to be right there with them. Best players to never win a ring. And it's a great class to be in. It really is. But it's not a coincidence that he's not won a ring. It is not a coincidence. And he's often unavailable. Just like this year. It's time for the Suns to move on and get a different kind of point guard. Maybe somebody a little bit younger. Maybe somebody that's more comfortable in a catch and shoot kind of role and doesn't want the ball all the time and is not his strength being on the ball so much. Chris Paul's ball dominance, man, it helps teams a lot. But in the top 4 stages, he needed to be a second option in his prime, and he didn't do that. And that was the problem with him. His ego was big, no matter what anyone wants to say. How about Devin Booker? Honestly, I don't really have much bad things to say about him. He didn't perform at the end. He can front run and talk too much, but he's a really, really good player that keeps improving every year. And I honestly haven't counted him out as being a potential number 1 option on a championship team in the future. I think you should give him the opportunity because he was arguably the number 1 option on this team. And let's go to now the other guy, Kevin Durant, the Slim Reaper, the Durantula, Iceberg Slim, easy money sniper, overrated all time. I told you guys last year, he's not the best scorer ever. Stop saying that. He's not top 12. He's not a guaranteed top 3 small forward. He, to me, is overrated by the younger generation because he's one of the best players we've seen. But you guys get so enamored with his flash. He's not won a championship as the best player because he's not who you think he is. When he, for the most, besides that PJ Tucker series 2021, when he gets met with physicality, you can get him to take tough shots. He faces up, he loses the ball, he takes these contested mid-ranges and threes. He doesn't really make other guys that much better. I think he'll make your life easier just because he gets doubled and gets loaded up on and all that. But I've never seen him truly take someone else's game to the next level. He'd have 0 rings if it weren't for the Warriors saving his ass. Stop comparing him to Curry. Stop comparing him to Larry Bird. They would bring back slavery for what he would do to Larry Bird. Okay, KD would beat Larry Bird one-on-one. I also think he would beat Steph Curry one-on-one. He might beat LeBron one-on-one. But basketball's 5-on-5 team game, right? Y'all only want to use team game when it comes to making excuses for guys that lose. And KD has had the most help of any superstar ever, in my opinion. Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and DeAndre Ayton. All these guys, star caliber players. We can remove DeAndre Ayton if you want. Dude, give me a break. Like, y'all overrate him to me. He's not better than Kawhi at his peak to me either. And don't worry, I'm going to get into the basketball stuff just to give you guys a yearly reminder because I don't like doing it throughout the course of the season, piling on these all-time greats. Because don't get me wrong, Kevin Durant is an all-time great. He is that motherfucker. He is nasty. He's a generational talent. We've never seen anything like him, and I don't think we'll ever see anything like him again, even though we have all these prototypes of KD that want like MPJs, and even Jayson Tatum has some similarities to me. But nobody is truly Kevin Durant. Nobody is truly this 7-foot demi who has an amazing handle for his size, can pull from anywhere on the court, can hit all kinds of different shots. It looks beautiful, but he's not winning a championship as the best player. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you he's never going to. He's not Curry. He's not Kobe. He's not Wilt Chamberlain. Like, I would take Doc's career over him any day of the week. He's with the Charles Barkleys, the Elgins, which is, listen to these names I'm naming, by the way. Dirk Nowitzki, Jerry West, Oscar, like these kind of players. And listen to these names. If that's your punishment, like that's who you're with. Big fucking whoop. Do you know how good those players were? So it's not even me knocking him, but I expected this loss because they didn't have any help. And those two guys are not going to beat Jokic because guess what? Jokic is better than KD. Jokic is better than him. New team, new L. Or should I say same old L? KD hasn't been to the conference finals without the Warriors since 2016. 2016, dude. Give me a break. Like, I don't want to hear it with this guy anymore. He's awesome. But, like, you guys overrate him so much because he looks pretty. Like, he has no flaws. No, man. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this shit. Because y'all, let's do this. Okay, here are his flaws to me. He's an improved passer. He's nothing crazy, okay? So I think he's a solid playmaker. As I said, I don't think he makes everyone's life that much easier. I don't think he's anything close to a LeBron, Magic, Curry. Who else am I missing? Larry. Even Kobe was a much better playmaker and decision maker than him in terms of pick and rolls and all this, and he didn't play with nearly as much spacing. So that's one thing. I think KD's really good off the ball, though. I'll say that. He's pretty good off the ball. But then there's the lack of grabbing the game by the throat. He has this casualness about him that's like, oh, if we lose, big deal, you know, I just go out there and hoop and chill. Nah, man, fuck that. How badly do you want to win championships? Because you wanted to win so badly, you sold out and ran across to the team that kicked your ass when you blew a 3-1 lead and didn't play well in some of those clinchers. And you ran to them. And you want everybody to respect you like you're better than LeBron? You get mad that people are chanting MVP for Curry? You get mad that Steph and Klay take their 30-footers that they won championships taking? Nah, man. And then Draymond gets all the heat for yelling. Look, Draymond, he's a little bit questionable in the ways that he acts sometimes. But KD, he's sensitive. I agree with Barkley. And KD always comments on it. And KD always says, why can't I use Twitter? He can do whatever he wants, but everybody else can give their opinion too. And KD, to me, nah, bro. It's all about the mentality. There's levels to dog, but he ain't Kobe. He's not Bird, Russell. Like, he's not even Steph to me. I've seen Steph take over way more games than him in the playoffs. Like, KD's had his moments, don't get me wrong. But again, as my good friend Will once said, there is levels to this shit. There are levels to everything. And KD is on a slightly lower level than I think a lot of people act like he's on. That's the honest take. And I'm going to keep going. I ain't done. When teams load up on this guy, he looks like he sees ghosts. He either doesn't move the ball quick enough, he doesn't pass and relocate. He either just gets rid of the ball or takes a contested three. Win for the defense. And then the other thing he doesn't do enough, post up. He's 7 feet tall, and he was like, one time I remember he quote tweeted someone. He's like, you tripping thinking 7 don't got post game. Okay, then why don't you go to it more in the playoffs? If you have turnarounds over both shoulders, you know why? Because you don't like bumping and grinding that comes with that post. Aaron Gordon on him. These other guys, they're going to bump him outside the post like the Celtics did last year. They're going to make your life a little bit tougher. PJ Tucker, 2018. How about Andre Iguodala, 2016? And then what does he do? Settles or passes and just plays passive. Oh, but his efficiency looks great. Nah, bro. I see through that bullshit. Empty the fucking clip, dog. Empty the clip and be aggressive. It's all up here. It's how much you want it. And you know what? I don't get it. He doesn't get any sympathy for, he just got to Phoenix. Nah, bro. You left the best situation. Own your fucking move. You went to Golden State. Own your fucking move and stay there and build a dynasty because you had the best chance to match anything close to what Chicago did with that Warriors team. It was a match made in heaven that I really think you just did not have the personnel for in this NBA to match up with. I mean, you had Steph Curry, KD, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green in their primes at the same fucking time. That's crazy. Super Chat Shaft 9000 says salute and keep on with the top tier content, Dime. Booker's a special talent, but also a special kind of choker next to CP Nut Punch. Oh my God. And Tobias Barkley says, na 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 na. Hey, goodbye, bum ass Suns. You gotta love it. Thank you, gentlemen. I'm loving tonight, guys. But I'm not done with KD. So yeah, when push comes to shove, you look at LeBron. He has the advantage that KD doesn't have. He's built like a tank, so he can get to the rim and get that shoulder into you. KD is not a bully ball kind of guy, and he doesn't have the same first step that he once did. So even when he was never the guy that got to the paint at will, he has that stop and pop mid-range going both directions. That's absolute splash. But the thing is, a little bit of hand checking, a little bit of physicality. You get him to take that shot a little bit further than usual. You get a nice hand up. Okay. You can maybe get a second defender right around him. Sometimes he loses the ball, gets a little loosey-goosey. Because the thing is, when you are that tall, this is exactly why big men were discouraged to dribble back in the day. When you're that tall and you're dribbling face up in front of guys with lower centers of gravity, you are playing to their advantage. That's exactly why big men used to post up. But, KD, because he also can carry in today's game so much, he can get away with it. And he has a special handle and moves like I'm not going to knock his otherworldliness. But he has his advantages now, but it doesn't matter. He's still not going to win chips. He's not going to win. And by the way, was he even the best player on this team? I understand he was getting Aaron Gordon guarding him, and, he's the best defender, and Russell Westbrook in the last series, who we considered our best stopper. But was he even the best player on his team? How much do, who's catching the schemes and the best defender get taken into account? I don't know. But let's just put it this way. It was up for debate, and he wasn't better than Jokic. And that's the thing about Phoenix. So to finish off, all they have done in this era is beat injured teams. Their fans are so weirdly arrogant for having won nothing. You are only better than us in one facet, and it's called choking. That's the way you're even better than us at that, because you didn't have before Sarver incompetent ownership for so long. The Suns have had great teams in every era, with even dating back to the early days, Connie Hawkins and Dick Van Arsdale in them. And then they had, decent teams in the 80s with Walter Davis and Dennis Johnson and like Alvin Adams. And then obviously you had Barkley and Kevin Johnson, 7 seconds or less. They had one stretch where they were ass. That was the 2010s with Sarver and McDonough. as GM. And now in this James Jones era, Devin Booker era, they're pretty good. And they still just come up short. They're only better than us in one thing, and that is the so close yet so far competition. Because they've actually had more talent, they've actually had competent ownership, and they've actually had years where they probably should have won the title. They've had their bad luck as well. But you think I feel bad for anybody? Fuck no. Especially not them. Suns in 4. Suns in 4. Say it with me, chat. Suns in 4. Suns in 4 fucking decades, maybe. Good night. Join me in Cancun. Kevin Durant, new team, same result. Except when he was with the Warriors. Shout out to the Warriors, man. Save KD's legacy. I'm obviously joking when I say that because I still think even if you don't win rings, you can still have a great legacy. Speaking of not winning rings, let's move on to what was a game. I'm not going to lie, guys. For me not having any horse in this race, I am so ecstatic tonight. Like, I really felt like I won, guys. Glenn Rivers losing and the Suns choking. I mean, this is awesome. This is a great night for me. I was sipping a little wine earlier, as I said. Glenn Rivers, James Harden, Joel Embiid looking to close out the Celtics in Philly. And look, I was like, I've never felt like more of a Celtics fan in my life than tonight. I was actually getting nervous. That's how bad it was. I was actually getting nervous. And you know what? To start the game, the Celtics, you felt that desperation, and they made an adjustment. Credit to Missoula. I bet Celtics fans are probably like a lot of them have probably been like, we've been asking for this like all season, because knowing what Udoka did with using this two big combination, I would assume that the Celtics fans have probably been requesting it. But Missoula seems like, as I said, more of an offense first mind. So he likes the spacing that they get with Horford at the 5 or just only having one big. But tonight, and I suggested potentially going to that in the last episode, I talked about them. They played Time Lord and Horford, and right off the bounce, you could see, or right from the jump, you could see that Time Lord was affecting tons of shots at the rim. They would have Horford guarding Embiid, and then Time Lord guarding PJ Tucker. And on the pick and rolls, they would stay attached to Embiid, let Harden go downhill, and then Time Lord would be sitting there, and they'd force the kick out to Tucker. Great strategy, and it honestly worked. You know, PJ was in his own head. And then on the other end, the role players for Boston started the game shooting well. Because Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I thought they were bullshitting. I mean, Jaylen Brown, he made a couple of shots, whereas Tatum was, again, had a putrid first half on offense. Like, just, he was creating some good shots, though, like, you know, looking for Time Lord on some rim runs and the pick and roll in that high drop coverage, finding shooters and stuff like that, and on the drive. But he couldn't hit a shot again in the first half. You needed a better start from him. But luckily, the Sixers were missing so many good looks. Granted, the Celtics defense was good and stuff, and they were getting most of the looks that they wanted. But Harden and Embiid still got like their solid looks, Maxey as well, and they couldn't hit. And that was the reason why the Celtics were up by 7 at halftime, even though they led by as many as, I think it was 16, 46-30 at one point of that first half. They were up 29-22 after one, and 50-43 at the half. Marcus Smart was a man amongst boys tonight. I mean, when the Celtics needed him most, he was so great. His defense was good. He had a couple of big-time steals, finished in transition, a couple of times where he was controlling the ball in the pick and roll and scoring, hit his open threes, just an array of great plays from Marcus Smart, and just a really good performance overall for him. But I mean, Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, like Jaylen Brown in the beginning, just running into traffic and just like having tunnel vision, taking bad shots. Jayson Tatum, like when he's off, he was missing layups, by the way, like layups in traffic, not like wide open layup. Actually, one of them was like pretty open. He was just going too fast in the first half. And then missing just these tough threes, like just not making his game easy. And by the way, so Embiid is in that high drop, but a lot of times they would do that late switch action where Embiid would switch onto the perimeter, and I thought he was doing a pretty good job holding his own. And Embiid's help defense and like rim protection has just improved so much. I know I feel like I'm a broken record saying that every single episode, but it really was impressive and just has been impressive. But the Celtics, led by guys like Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White, they were knocking down shots, getting stops, and trying to push in transition. Brogdon made 3 threes, I think, in the first quarter when he came into the game. One off the bounce, like in transition. Another one catch and shoot from the corner. There was another one coming off a screen where he hit a 3. So off the ball, catch and shoot. So Malcolm Brogdon, you needed a good shooting game from the role players. Malcolm Brogdon did not shoot well last game, and he had a big game with 16 points and 6 rebounds on 6 for 11 shooting and 4 for 6 from 3. But as far as the PJ Tucker strategy, it was working pretty well. Glenn put in Melton for a little bit. No McDaniels in this game. 1 minute. But he put in House for 8 minutes, Niang for 15, Melton for 24. Melton couldn't hit any shots. They were doing the same thing with him, just trying to take away that Harden and Embiid pick and pop. And look, when they got, and they, so as a counter to that, they started going to Embiid more on the wing. And he started out pretty cold. He was like 2 for 8, missed a couple of those mid-ranges. Then there were other times where when he had Horford one-on-one, sometimes the Celtics were doubling, sometimes they weren't, sometimes they were loading up. So I thought Boston did a pretty good job of throwing several different looks at him. But there were a couple times when the double didn't come that he would go right at Horford and he got him in foul trouble. And towards the end of the half, part of why the Sixers kind of climbed back in it was because they were trying to go at Horford because they knew he didn't want to pick up another foul, and they got a couple of buckets. But Jaylen Brown, I thought he had some nice shots, but I still didn't love the way he was playing offensively. But defensively, this is where the Jays won the game for themselves. Jayson Tatum, even though he wasn't hitting, really good defense. The Celtics, they're going to switch at 1 through 4. And even the Time Lord, was able to switch a couple of times. But Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, no matter who they guarded, whether it was Harden, Maxey, Harris, or even Embiid on certain possessions, I thought they were pretty good. Help defense was good. Jayson Tatum got a couple of blocks. Jaylen Brown with some really good one-on-one defensive moments throughout these playoffs so far. And I thought that that's the way they kind of, even when the offense isn't going great, that's the mark of a championship team, is to just stay in the game by defending. And you saw that level of desperation from Boston. But that being said, it's also part of it, Philly not making shots. And the craziest part about Boston was they were still turning the ball over fairly frequently. But at halftime, Jayson Tatum, I think it was 0 for 10. You just needed him to get going. But thankfully, as I said, Derek White, Time Lord. And by the way, it's not just the rim protection of Time Lord, but that vertical threat. That vertical threat of those lobs in the pick and roll. So that was helping as well. Al Horford, sadly, still not able to get the 3-ball to fall. But in the second half, the Sixers came with a response. And in the third quarter, they outscored the Celtics 30-21. And B started hitting his mid-range. He started to hit some shots. His field goal percentage was starting to even out a little bit. And, James Harden, he was making plays. That's the one thing about Harden. He wasn't hitting his shots, but he was able to create good shots all game long. And one of the only guys that shot efficiently tonight for the Sixers was Tyrese Maxey, who shot 45%, hit a couple of floaters, hit 3 threes in the game, but he also was missing easy shots. And then Tobias Harris, he did not have a good shooting game at all, 1 for 7, but his defense in these playoffs has been, this is the best defense I've ever seen him play. And remember, he was on the Clippers for a year. His help defense has been so good. He's been really physical. He's doing a good job on Tatum. I know part of it's PJ Tucker, but he's been doing a really good job. And he's been doing a good job having active hands, getting blocks and help side, and his rotations have been sharp. He's been really locked in. I think that's part of the reason why the Sixers have looked better as well in these playoffs. And then part of the reason why they started making shots is that George Niang came in that PJ Tucker role, and he was 2 for 3 from deep. So they started honoring that shot. And then Embiid and Harden in the 2-man game started to get a little bit more of that pick and pop success and better looks. And then when they, take that away and he'd swing it to Maxey is just so lightning quick attacking closeouts. I mean, he gets into that paint and he's got a great layup package. So when the Sixers were able to get stops and push, that's when they got back into the game and even took the lead. Going into the fourth quarter, it was a 73 to 71 game. And oh boy, Did we get a Glenn Rivers choke job or what? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think he did anything wrong. Although, I got one thing. Considering DeAnthony Melton missed three-pointer after three, I think he missed 3 wide open threes in the fourth. He played 24 minutes. George Niang played 15. Now, I think the reason why he did that was because Niang defensively is not as good as Melton. But Embiid's rim protection was pretty good. Like, for example, Harden can't really stay in front. Like, he's trying hard for, his standards defensively, but he's getting blown by. Embiid's help defense has been really good. But Maxey and Harden, they've been trying to get, targeted in the pick and roll a lot. And the Sixers have been switching basically everything. Like, Maxey would be on Horford. Horford will not post him up, though. That's really annoying. It happened once or twice tonight. And granted, the Sixers are trying to prevent Maxey from guarding, like, Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, and Horford. And the time where they absolutely didn't want to switch him on to because he would get killed on the vertical game and then on the offensive glass. But they're trying to keep Maxey off of those guys and just keep him guarding Smart, Brogdon, Whites of the world. But the times where he was guarding like Tatum and Brown, he was doing a pretty good job holding his own. There was even one time in the second half where he stole the ball from Jaylen and then got a take foul. And there was one time, so Jayson Tatum, part of the reason why the Celtics let them back in the game is because their offense just went so cold. Tatum still couldn't hit. And again, he's just taking these tough jumpers, and they weren't giving him any calls, by the way. Like, the game was pretty poorly officiated both ways. But Tatum was getting no calls. At least Embiid got some calls. Let's see how many free throws he shot. 8. Tatum shot 5. There were a couple of times where, first of all, like just the amount of hand checking they could do with Tatum. But then Embiid, who, by the way, looked like he got fouled a couple of times and got no call. But a couple of times, he gets the same amount of hands put on him and they don't call anything. With Tatum, like he was getting really angry, and I don't blame him. He was ripping through. But again, Tatum has the same problem KD and Paul George do. He's so tall. All he wants to do is make the game harder for himself, standing at the top of the key, dribbling the ball so much and facing up. Like, you're so tall and you actually have some post game. Go to the elbow, go to the mid post, or even get on the block. If you love Kobe so much, why don't you watch his games and see the way he attacked? And he was shorter than you. Like, he's lucky he has all the space in the world. Horford at the 5. You know what Kobe would be doing to that? Horford at the 5. Come on, man. Don't be stupid. But I will say this. He continued to guard. And in the second half, when Horford kind of got his fouls reset, so to speak, his defense on Embiid at times was so good, so physical. The Time Lord's help was so great. And, I was looking at this game from a Celtics perspective, not Sixers. So let me know how much you think of PJ Tucker's defense tonight. But Glenn I was surprised he put him back in the game. They gave him open shots again, and he missed over and over again. He was 2 for 7 from deep. And with the game tight, it was kind of going to come down to which star took over. I wanted Jaylen Brown to be aggressive. I've been calling for him to be aggressive. But when they needed it most, I do think this was Kobe-esque, having an inefficient game, but making the big shots that count. First, it was a contested wing 3 over Embiid to give the Celtics the lead. Then the next time down, he got Maxey on that switch because they were switching everything. Pull up in his face, shooting over a chair, and then he hit another 3 to seal the deal. The Sixers continued to miss shots that they've made all playoffs long, all the way around. The Celtics just had more depth. It showed tonight with the contributions they got elsewhere. Amazing defense by Al Horford late. So good. Just his strips, and it was gang rebounding by all the Celtics. Time Lord made a difference. What a win for the second straight year. The Boston Celtics get a Game 6 win after losing Game 5 at home, and we'll see a Game 7 on their home floor. Now, let's see if we can go back to the regular season. I bet the Sixers didn't wish they load managed Embiid and Harden some nights, mainly Embiid, not Harden. Now you play a Game 7 on the road. And funny enough, honestly, though, probably no excuse because They should have won tonight, and they blew it. And I'll tell you this, that Philly crowd was so good. They were doing everything in their power to get the Sixers over the finish line, but they couldn't make shots. Classic Glenn Rivers teams choking when it matters most. Oh, man, I'm so happy, but the job is not done, so I can't celebrate yet. But I've been saying the Sixers are not getting past the second round with Glenn Rivers. It just won't happen. I don't like James Harden, but he's played really well. The thing is this, the 3 games that he's played well, they've won. The 3 games where he's played badly, they've lost. It really comes down to him. Does that mean that if he plays well in game 7, they'll win? Probably, but I don't know about that. If the Celtics go nuclear from 3, then the Sixers are fucked. Just like they went nuclear from 3 against the Bucks last year in game 7. But the final score was 95-86 to the Celtics. And just so you know how bad it got, the Sixers scored 13 points in the fourth. Like 13 points. Like, when have we seen this before? It always happens to Glenn ever since Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett stopped bailing his ass out. So, by the way, moral of the story, I know I'm poking my fun, but it wasn't even Glenn's fault at all to me. If you think those minor things I said are the difference, then so be it. But like, Embiid, Harden, and Maxey didn't close. Like, it's simple as that. And Tobias didn't shoot well. But I expect more from those other 3 guys. Tatum took over at the end. He straight up took that shit by the throat. That's why I think he's that dude. But let's talk about the lines. Let's look at the team stats first for this choke job. The Celtics only shot 42%, but the Sixers shot 36%. So there you go. Celtics shot 43% from 3, so finally they had a good shooting night from deep, but they can shoot even better than that. They still missed a lot of solid looks. It felt like for a bit they were just missing those good looks at threes, and I'm like, fuck, they're not going to win. Tatum and Brown, it would have been all their fault if they lost. And then the Sixers shot 23.5% from 3, 8 for 34. So again, I know it's cliche as fuck, but I said last game, it's just a make or miss league. It's going to come down to whose role players make more shots, in my opinion, or just whose players just make more shots. I know that's obvious, but like, just because I think that both teams, as good of defense as they play, they can both get good looks all the time with the way Harden and Embiid are in the pick and roll, and how good the Celtics are offensively. They can both get good looks. It's just a matter of who knocks down their shots. Game 5, it was Philly. Game 6, it was Boston. Yeah, Sixers shot 23.5%. Free throw disparity, very close. Sixers 18 of 19 from the line. So another game where they shot really well from the line, 95%. Celtics 14 for 16 from the line, 87.5%. The rebounding battle, though, Boston won that, except there was the only difference was the defensive rebounds. Same amount of offensive rebounds, 50-38 in favor of the Celtics in that department. Simple reason, they got more stops. The Sixers actually shot 5 more shots and the 3 more free throws, and that's because the Celtics turned the ball over 18 times and still managed to win the game. They had 24 fast break points to the Sixers 18, so they did a good job of running off misses. But the fact that they turned the ball over 18 times on the road and still won, the Sixers should be ashamed of themselves in that sense. Because I have a rule. If you turn the ball over 17 times or more on the road, you deserve to lose. Like, you should expect to lose. The Sixers just laid an egg offensively. So I'm actually going to talk about the Celtics box score first. Only a 7-man rotation. Mazzulla wasn't fucking around. Derek White played the least amount of minutes, 19, and I thought he was good in his minutes. 9 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist. He also had a really nice chase down block. Got a steal as well. 9 points, 3 for 6 from the field, and 3 for 5 from 3. So those 3 threes, especially the first one, just felt very timely. Derek White, solid performance. Good to see him be more efficient again if you're a Celtics fan. And then the Time Lord, 28 minutes. But he was such a difference in this game. The adjustment by Mazzulla to go too big was really good. He had the vertical threat with him and just his great help defense. 10 points, 9 rebounds for the Time Lord. See how many blocks he had. 2 blocks. He was a plus 18, which was tied for the highest for either team. 4 for 7 from the field, 2 for 2 from the line. He was a beast. So when they go to that high drop, even if Embiid does get the ball, they have a big rotating at the rim. But remember, they weren't in that high drop. They were just letting Harden run and then rotating off their weakest shooter, or camping off their weakest shooter more so. Brogdon, already said him, 16.6 boards. You needed a big game from him, and he delivered. 6 for 11 from the field and 4 for 6 from 3, which is great. Just a couple of really careless turnovers on his part, 4 of them. So he needs to clean that up in game 7. But I thought he was, these are the type of games that this is why you bring in Malcolm Brogdon. Al Horford. Look, he couldn't make his shot, and it would be really nice if he made his 3-ball. But his leadership, you saw how animated he was in the huddles, his toughness, his physicality against Embiid, just making his life difficult. Just amazing. He has great hands as well. 2 points, 11 rebounds, a steal and a block, some really big defensive plays late. 1 for 5 from the field and 0 for 2 from 3, but you'll just never be able to tell how impactful he is in the stat sheet. 39 big minutes for them. And yeah. Jaylen Brown, 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. 4 turnovers, by the way, for him as well. 6 for 13 from the field, 1 for 3 from deep. I thought he was okay. Jayson Tatum ended up having a better higher scoring game than Jaylen. It didn't feel like that at all. Again, it's because he takes matters into his own hands. 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists. Also 4 turnovers for Jayson. So 12 turnovers between Brogdon, Tatum, and Brown. He was also 5 for 21 from the field and 4 for 11 from 3, but 19 points, 6 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. So the moral of the story, kids, is Jayson Tatum found a way to contribute when his shot wasn't falling. I think the biggest thing with Tatum, and I'm going to keep repeating this, he's the key to the title. If he's ready to be the best player in a championship team, they'll win. If he's not, they're going to lose. It's about his shot selection. He needs to lean more into the post game, catching the ball closer to the basket. Stop taking so many dribbles and playing so far away. Stop taking so many contested jumpers when you're bricking. Go up stronger. But everything else he does, like he still creates for other guys. He still plays really good defense. He still rebounds. All that stuff is why they can win games like this. So he earned that win because he's going to continue to play hard defensively. The stats don't lie there. And also, fuck efficiency and losing as opposed to inefficient. Play defense, make the shots that count at the end. I can't tell you how many times I saw Kobe have poor shooting nights, but then he'd start making shots when they counted. Jayson Tatum with the season on the line, the level of pressure, because he would have been destroyed in the media and by fans had he lost this game tonight. It would have been all his fault for the most part, 90%. For him to make those big shots, so clutch for the second straight year, mind you. But everybody, it is what it is. Some people might think he's overrated. I love Jayson Tatum. I always thought he was built for these kind of things. He's 25 years old, just turned 25 in March. Like, we're asking a lot of the kid already. And this is his career arc. And let's just see how it goes. I said Celtics in 7 before the series. It's looking like it. It's so hard to win a game 7 on the road in Boston. It's one of the rarest things you can do. I know the first time it ever happened was 1973 Knicks and Celtics. Now, Celtics fans will say John Havlicek had a dislocated shoulder and that's why they lost. But I'm not going to give he still played. And I'm not going to take away from New York. To do that is big time. When was the last time it happened? 2019 against the Magic, but Kevin Garnett did not play. It's very hard to do. I got the Celtics winning this game, and I think Tatum is due for a great shooting game, but who knows? It's all about Tatum. But for the Sixers, it's all about Harden. Let's see what happens. They need to make their open shots, but absolutely you'd be sticking to 2 bigs if you're the Celtics. For the Sixers, you just have to make shots. Maybe PJ Tucker's minutes might have to be limited, but let's read their lines. DeAnthony Melton, 0 for 5 and 0 for 4 from 3. A donut. They needed at least one of those to go in. Daniel House, 8 minutes, 1 for 3 from the field. They also sagged off of him. He made 1 of 2 of his threes. George Niang, 6 points in 15 minutes, 2 for 3 from deep. And when he made those 2, he was feeling himself. The starters, 20 minutes or more for all of them. PJ Tucker with the least amount, as you'd expect. 8 points, 2 rebounds, 3 steals, 3 for 8 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3. It wasn't it. They just, he's not an offensive player. They knew it, left him open. 2 for 7, not good enough. And they'll take that all day long. So not a good game for PJ Tucker. Tobias Harris, 2 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. So there you go with the defense, the 2 steals and the 2 blocks, but 1 for 7. You need better. Need more aggressiveness. Tyrese Maxey. I thought he did enough. He still could have made more shots, though. He had a lot of good looks he missed, little runners and good looks at threes, but no turnovers for him. And the Sixers turned the ball over 11 times, so not too bad. 26 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals on 9 for 20 shooting and 3 for 9 from deep, 5 for 6 from the line for Tyrese Maxey. So 45% from the field, but just 33% from deep in 40 minutes of play. Again, the Sixer players are logging really heavy minutes. The Celtics just have more depth. That was obvious before the series started. James Harden went back to being Plumber Jim. He's playing the right way, but missing shots, a lot of short shots, and maybe he's just gassed. Maybe it's wearing on him. 13 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 steals, a couple of turnovers trying to foul bait. He had 5 turnovers of the 11 to be exact, and shot 25% from the field, 4 for 16, and 0%, 0 for 6 from deep. So classic James Harden in what could be the biggest game of his career coming up. No, that would be game 7 against the Warriors. But it's one of the biggest games of his career coming up, and tonight was one of the biggest games of his career. And he, again, didn't come to play. How about Embiid? 26 points, 10 rebounds, a steal, and 3 blocks. His defense was really good, but 4 turnovers. So 9 of the 11 turnovers were from Embiid and Harden. He was 9 for 19 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3, so I like that he didn't settle. 8 for 8 from the line. But you're not shooting 20 shots in the closeout game. I get your double team, but there were a lot of times where he waited a little too long, and a couple of times where he just, didn't really go up strong. There were a couple of times where he probably got away with, not getting a foul. But let me just see what his shot chart was in the fourth quarter. Joel Embiid, fourth quarter. Okay, so he shot 6 times, and he made 3 of them. So not bad. And then the third quarter, looks like he shot 5 times. So not bad. But I think he still could have shot more. I have to look at the tape back to see how much I blame Embiid. Harden didn't show up, but Embiid needed to get at least 30, in my opinion. You got to have them in like a Shaq mentality. Like, I got to go out and get 30. But anyway, I can't really fully grill the Sixers too much as they haven't lost yet. But, oh, man, it was so enjoyable seeing that Glenn Rivers choke job. 13 points in the fourth. You can't expect to win a game 7 on the road. You had the opportunity, and your fans were so behind you, and you blew it. But also, Boston, you got to give a shout-out to them, the resilience. Marcus Smart. Oh, my God, I forgot to talk about him. Jesus, that's why I didn't talk about him, because he's my player of the game. What a performance by him. Amazing. 22 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals on 8 for 15 from the field and 3 for 8 from 3. I thought he was just magnificent in every sense. Screen setting, knocking down his open shots, in transition, defensively, so good. The Celtics keep their season alive, and we'll have a game 7 in Boston. We're going back to Boston, as the great Johnny Most would say. And that's it for me tonight. Let me know what you thought of the episode. It's timestamped if you only want to listen to one part. Minute men and minute women, if you are listening to this, let me know. I'm still trying to, at least get more enthusiastic for the Celtics for you guys, because I truly believe this is the Celtics title to lose. And they can't play with their food so much. One more win, and you're back in the conference finals. Get it done. At home, 1 game for the season, and then you're playing either Miami in a rematch or New York. You're probably playing Miami in a rematch. So get ready, buckle up. It's time for Boston to get back to the conference finals. You're going to need a bigger Tatum game, more efficient, and Jaylen Brown to knock down, or just to be smarter with his decisions, in my opinion. Look up on the drive and hopefully be aggressive if he's got it going. And then hopefully Horford will make his threes and the Celtics go nuclear from deep like they did last year. But I expect a better game from Harden. Anyway, that's it for me tonight, guys. Now to live subscribers waiting patiently in the chat. Super chats are turned on if you want to jump $1 a dime. Peace. Yes, sir. Jeez. Solid attendance for a non-Laker night or non-Clipper night. Let's see what my last comments were that I didn't read. Let's see. Alfonso Lopez, 52 minutes ago, said Suns in 5. Abdul Karim Musa Noor said, we got a masterclass from Glenn, Harden, Embiid, and the Suns. Rohan, what's up? Rohan says, not a lost season for KD, as his acumen as a track star is at Usain Bolt levels. The show said, Ayton needs a fresh start. They need to trade him. 50 minutes ago, Nick Pillow said, the Paul God bites the dust once again, forever ringless. The point God. You got to stop calling guys God without rings. Ghost ZMW2 says, Ayton technically doesn't want to be there. I agree. What's up, Denver? Says he waves. Double D Worth says Zion too, by the way. Yes. Did I forget about Zion, or did I not say Zion when I talked about the Pelicans injuries? Crypto Mike said the Nuggets will go all the way. I agree. I've been saying they're going to go to the finals since like December. Jeremy says, I'm spitting right now. That was when I was grilling the Suns. And even then, it only went 6 because Book was playing like prime Jordan on crack. Oh, I'd say prime Jordan or Jordan on crack. Not both. Kobe fan 124 says, if Jimmy takes the Heat back to the finals, would it be a reach to say he's over Harden all time? Nah, I don't think so. I'd probably take Jimmy. June 28th, July says, rooting for the Nuggets. I am too. YFN Trey says, you Lakers hater. And Lakers going beat Nuggets in 6 like 2020. I'm a Laker hater? Really? You guys think that? After all the stuff I do on them? Denver says they should have let him go to Indiana. Yeah, they probably should have. All ball. Is this actually all ball or is this Fabian? Says, appreciate you, sneaker. Danny Barry. Showtime Nick, 42 minutes ago, said, don't forget Patrick Ewing and Allen Iverson for best players to never win a ring. We do get your point, though. Thank you. Denver said, oh, boy. Yup, KD's overrated all the time. But, bro, he's 7 feet tall. Yeah, it's not moving me. June 28th, July says, sometimes I feel KD didn't get enough heat for defecting to Golden State. Really? You think so? Feels like LBJ gets more heat for going to Miami. I don't think so. I think the only difference is LeBron's better at basketball and gets put in conversations with Mike. So then he'll get more criticized probably. But like KD's always, people think KD doesn't even have any legit rings. LeBron rings, people just really call him the GOAT. Showtime Nick says, I wouldn't even consider KD a top 5 small forward of all time. Top 10, yes, but no way top 5. Wow. I mean, I'm not going to argue too much against it because like I know who you would have and I'm not, as I said, he's in the tier with those guys. The show says KD can't lead a team to a title. Raw World. What's up, Raw World? It's a speak on it time. Showtime Nick, 40 minutes ago, said, at least from my memory, Russ and Harden were more at fault for the 2012 finals than KD, but I only watched the 2012 finals when they were happening. I agree. I still haven't rewatched the series, but you're right. I remember KD hooping and the other guy's not. Raw World said, speak on it. LT_TV said, waking up to Glenn Rivers' choke job and the Suns getting eliminated. I'm feeling great. Gotta love it. Haha, at the KD versus Bird nonsense. KD belongs with Dominique, Dirk, and T-Mac. Not okay. I think he's definitely better than T-Mac and Neek. I agree with Dirk, but not Bird or LeBron. Nick Pillow said dime in his bag. Raw World said preach. You guys are liking it. Kobe fan 124, 36 minutes ago says KD went out pretty underwhelming in 2011. Okay, I'm not going to hold that one against him. 2013, also not going to really hold that one against him. 2014, 16, 22, and now 2023. 2010 is a pass for obvious reasons. I think 2011, I mean, did you expect him to beat Dallas? A moon? Raw World says, I'm tired of these KD stands. He ain't been doing shit in years. I feel you. Kobe fan 124 35 minutes ago said, I guess you could give him a pass in 2011 too. Thank you. But those last few games against Dallas were kind of ugly. I got to rewatch them. Shaft 9000 says, dime on all 3 burners right now. June 28th, July, 36 minutes ago said, I'd rather KD still try without Golden State defection. I agree. Rohan, 35 minutes ago said, I couldn't have said it better regarding KD. In my opinion, he's a top 20 player in that very lower end. I don't want to get too much into all-time rankings, but there are levels getting to Pantheon caliber. I agree. Which in his prime, the limitations and lesser impact he's had compared to the guys you've mentioned are enough for the jury to be no longer out for me. I love it. Shaft 9000, 35 minutes ago said, keep on cooking, KD. Keep on cooking, KD. Don't mind me. Showtime. Oh, Suns in 4 decades, maybe. You got to love it. 33 minutes ago, we shifted to Philly. Said Glenn. Hit in the head. Said Suns in 4. Nick Pillow said Harden threw this opportunity tonight. He sure did. What's up, Domio? Right. Said, how you lose by 30 at home in an elimination game back-to-back years? Suns ain't so tough when they have to face a healthy team. Damn straight. Nick Pillow, 29 minutes ago, said Melton, Harris, Tucker combined 4 for 20. Got to love it, man. The show said Tatum single-handedly destroys the Sixers mentally. After those clutch shots, their body language changed. I feel you on that. 29 minutes ago, Raid said Sixers blew it. 27 minutes ago, Mike Moran said, KD can't win a title without the Warriors system. Even though he won the finals MVPs, everyone still consider those Curry's teams. You're right about that. 27 minutes ago, June 28th, July says, can these Celtics beat the Heat? Yeah, they can. Of course they can. They should. Edward, 22 minutes ago, said, KD is way more dependable than Kawhi. Well, he's not even played 60-plus games in a while. But I guess he's been more healthy in the playoffs. Raid Chowdhury says, wonder where KD requests a trade to next season. 21 minutes ago, Nick Pillow said, dependable to disappoint. Kawhi rings are greater than KD's. Did I say Kawhi was better at his peak? I hope I did. Edward said, oh my God, 21 minutes. You're really out on Kawhi, huh? He said, hopefully KD for Kawhi, straight up trade. Sixers are fraud, says KD is a fraud. KD is a fraud. Jeez. Domio, 22 minutes ago, said KD and the D is for disappointment. Edward, 21 minutes ago, says Kawhi gets injured taking a dump. Oh my God. Domio, 20 minutes ago, said KD is out there playing healthy like he's hurt. Well, Nick Pillow said KD barely made it back in time for the playoffs because he was injured warming up. The Sixers didn't. Hey, man, there was a slippery spot on the floor. The Sixers don't score a bucket after the 7-11 mark of the fourth. Are you serious? Did they get a free throw? Oh my! I should have read your comments, but things I get so distracted. That's fucking crazy. Oh my God. Denver said 85 points at home in a closeout game. Yeah, in today's NBA, that's ridiculous. Edwards said 19 minutes ago, Kawhi is a perfect sponsor for Kaiser Permanente. That fool lives in the hospital. Oh my God. Jonathan Jakob Q says, as a Celtics fan, I need another Glenn choke job. One last favor for his old team. I like where your thought process is. Kobe fan 124 said Tibbs was the real mastermind on those 2008, 2010 Celtics teams. Damn straight he was. 19 minutes ago, Edwards said Kawhi needs to be in Cedars-Sinai commercial instead. Jesus Christ. Nick Pillow, 18 minutes ago, said Glenn Rivers hasn't won a game 7 since 2015 with us against the Spurs. Is that true? Yeah, it is true. Yeah, it is. History is not on the Sixers side. 17 minutes ago, Edwards said, I'd rather have Glenn Rivers than Kawhi. Okay, stop. Yeah, Nick Pillow's even like, what the hell? Jonathan Asulin says, overrated. I don't like the Kobe comparisons. He had some nice passes, though. Teammates bricking wide open threes. I'm guessing you're referring to Tatum? 10 minutes ago, Jonathan Jakob Q says, no, the last time we lost game 7 at the Garden was 2018. Oh, fuck. Did I say that in the episode? God damn it. How did I not remember that? Such a fucking idiot. Disappointed in myself. I pride myself on those things. What a fucking fraud. How did I forget that? That was such an epic performance by LeBron, too. Oh, wait, hold on. I can just do this. Correction. LeBron James' Game 7 in 2018 was the last time the Celtics lost in Game 7 at home. So apologies to LeBron James. And then before that, it was Orlando. I'm almost 100% I'm right on that. Yes, it was. All right. I think we're good now. Peace. Easy fix. Nick Pillow, 11 minutes ago, said, the foul baiting in this Game 7 is going to be wild. Yeah, it will be. Danny G said, Phoenix and KD are trash. Always been. F Booker and that little bitch KD. Oh, my God. We doing a little B out here? June 28th, July says, MVP should have taken over the fourth. Who's the MVP? Oh, Embiid. 8 minutes ago, number 23, GOAT James says, everyone knew that SUNS not deep enough to compete, especially with an old CP3. Denver, 7 minutes ago, said, trust me, KD got enough heat after the Golden State move. 6 minutes ago, Nick Pillow said, KD for sure deleted Twitter as soon as he got to his locker. Domio said 6 minutes ago, Russ was hooping in the 2012 finals. He had like a 45-point game. Yeah, he was suspect in crunch time. That's why Magic grilled him. Domio, 4 minutes ago, said, Dime Dropper, what up, my guy? What's up, Domio? Doubled Worth, or Denver says, nah, imagine being in the building during that first run. You're just like, hey, no way this is happening again. Imagine being in the building during that first run. Which run? Which one are we talking about here? Sammy, what's up, Sammy? He said, how do you stop Jokic? His style is so unorthodox, and it just seems unstoppable. I don't think you can stop Jokic one-on-one. You just have to double him, but the thing is he's such a great passer, he's going to get a good shot. I think that's maybe the best bet. How do you stop Jokic in the pick and roll? Okay, if you want to double him and make someone else beat you, switch everything, and you double him. But like besides that, man, I can't think of that many counters. He is so hard to stop. He is so hard to stop. Like you can hedge it and then try to take away his short roll, but then he's going to make a pass to a cutter. Like he brings you out of the paint on that situation. So like you're just fucked. It's very hard. To me, you stop him by going at him defensively and attacking him in space. And that's one thing that this Nuggets haven't been exploited with yet. And I don't know if the Lakers can do it with their lack of shooting. It's a team like Boston, I think that would have the best chance. Nick Pillow says, will Jaden Springer scored with 23 seconds left? And yeah, Maxey got free throws. 7-11 was the last actual bucket. Okay, that's crazy still. Jonathan said, Jayson Tatum comparisons is not hype. Damn, you pronounced my name right. Yeah, instead of Jonathan Asulin. When you're being misbehaved, we're going to call you Asulin. 3 minutes ago, Wright said AD is greater than KD all time if the Lakers win it. If the Lakers win it, I'll say that. Daniel Barry says, go Lakers. KD can't succeed without Curry. Said the Suns. Oh, the first run in the first quarter? Well, I would assume in the first quarter, when the Suns went down 18, I would think that they would have a response. I don't know. I think it was the second quarter where I would be thinking it's happening again. MC, what's up, Moises Canega? He's excited for tomorrow. It's definitely a great night for you. Is tomorrow going to be a great night for you? Heat culture? Jonathan Jakob Q says, Jokic has the potential to become an all-time great. I think he already is an all-time great relative to like, I'd probably put him top 10 centers. I mean, he'll be if he gets to the finals, he'll have a much better claim. As of now, because like guys like Dwight Howard have been in the finals, but I think Jokic is way better than him. We'll say he's on the brink of a top 10 center, but he's one of the most unique players I've ever seen. One of the best foreign players ever. And the best center since Shaq. I stand on that tall. And he's probably the best Nugget player ever already. Dude's skill set is unreal. Averaging a 30-plus point triple-double in the playoffs as a center is nasty. And back-to-back MVPs, he just needs rings or a ring. Raid says Jokic is also greater than KD all-time. Nuggets win it. I agree with that. Kobe fan 124 says Jokic is much better than he was in the bubble. Yeah, I think he started his prime in 2021, and he's just gotten better every year. But Dwight had a lot of success against him back then, and the Lakers don't have anybody like that now. That's a good point. Jonathan Asulin says, I hate the Clippers, but I follow your content. Is that weird? No. Is this clip dropper or dime dropper? Nick Pillow said the players I've seen slow Jokic down are the ones who get in his pocket. Draymond is pretty good at that. It's a decent point. Moises Canega says, hopefully, but can't underestimate the Knicks. Number 23, Goat James says, LeBron, Jordan, Kobe. The only real GOATs, no matter the order. You're entitled to your opinion. Anybody else got anything? I have to record Locked On Clippers. I didn't even record the episode today. May have to record 2 episodes for the people, for the culture. D says, I don't think Denver's good enough to compete with defense is good enough to compete with the Lakers or Warriors. Coach Malone is underrated, though. I don't know about that. Have you seen the way they're guarding? Phoenix Plays D says, Jokic is pretty much a flawless offensive player. Yeah, his only flaw is like athleticism, but I'm taking having every single skill facet all day long. I agree. He doesn't really have that many holes, if any. He's just slow and doesn't get off the ground. Other than that, he's 7 feet tall. He has great post games, really strong. Can turn over either shoulder. Doesn't settle. Takes advantage of mismatches. Great pass from anywhere on the court. Wiggins might be out tomorrow. I really hope he's not. They need Wiggins or they're done. Jonathan says, I think Coach Malone's voice will make him lose against the Lakers. Interesting. Okay. What's the differential between him and Ham going to be huge? You're funny. Yeah, he's like, what? Anyway, all right, guys. I'm going to take off. It's time for Dodger baseball. No, just kidding. For me to record Locked On Clippers. All right. Peace out, y'all. Have a great night. And remember, comment on this video, please. Great attendance tonight, even for a non-Laker live. Please comment on it so it gets a couple hundred views. Last night, we didn't do that great. And the last night before that, we didn't as well. Thanks, everybody, so much for joining. Peace out. Have a good one.